Hey, I'm Jason Harrell.
And I'm Justin Boyd.
And let's freaking do this.
Welcome to episode number 9 of Let's Freaking Do This. My name is Justin Boyd. And once again, I am thrilled to be joined by my good friend, Jason Harrell, who's also a musician. Jason, how's it going today?
It's going great. I am working on my homeless look.
Love it.
You got it.
As Seth pointed out, I'm trying to trademark that look.
But you're going to transition into a dwarven bearded.
Yeah, it's going to be a braided beard.
Yeah, right in time for the Rings of Power. If you're watching that on Amazon Prime, check that out.
You got to make sure you're the right color, or else it's going to be a big deal.
Also, Amazon, if you'd like to sponsor us.
Yeah, please. Amazon, any involvement by you, we'll take it.
Even if you want to talk shit about us.
Yeah, trash us publicly.
That would probably help even better.
Any press is good press.
So, Jason, that voice we hear is our special guest. Would you like to introduce our guest for this week?
Yeah, that is Mr. Seth Jones, country crooner, punk rocker, podcaster, like a never-ending flow of creativity, like social media guru. Mr. Seth Jones, yeah.
Well, it's very nice to be here, and me and Justin were kind of talking shit about social media before you got here, and
that's okay. I'm all for it.
I will say though, there are advantages such as this. Like this would never have happened. Never would have met y'all. I'll say the concept of social media is great. The way it's been handled the past decade is pretty shitty. So hopefully we can find a good space for it in the coming years. I have faith in us as a race, as a people.
As a species.
Yeah,
as a social species.
Speaking of that, if you'd like to follow us, we're on Instagram and Twitter. We're at LFPT Pod.
God, we hate social media, but please follow us. Please like it.
If you have to use it, here it is.
Right. If you have to use it, make sure that we're a part of it.
Yeah. Also, we're on YouTube, as you probably know if you're watching this, and we're on podcast platforms like Spotify and Anchor. So please check us out there too. So I got to get the plugs in when I can.
Of course. Plug it in, like the commercial said.
And Seth, we just started this podcast, and you've already got numerous comments in the chat. People want to shout you out. So
I'm actually, I don't want to sound conceited, but I have so many fans, like 3 or 4 of them, and I think they're all here, which is great.
So your friend Drewski, he's got some comments for you.
Shout to my brother Seth Jones, Copper Team, baby, let's go! Yeah, that's my. I work in healthcare, and I do PT. He does OT, and we have PT/OT teams, and we're the Copper Team, so we're the Copper Boys, and to smoothly transition from that to a quick situation at work. As you know, patients have preferences, right? If there's some women that say, I really feel more comfortable working with women. And then there's also women that say I'd be more comfortable with men because they're stronger or whatever the rationale is. And for a long time, there were 2 male teams, but one male left. So now we're the only male team. So we happen to get a lot of horn dogs and just assholes. We're talking to management like, hey, let's not just give us all this shitty, pissed off, horny weirdos. Let's make the women deal with it too. Equality, okay? Make them deal with it. Let's be fair here.
Unfortunately, that's our audience, though, Seth. So you got to play to the audience.
Okay, audience, I'm on your team now. I just wanted to get my spiel. Come on, you horn dogs. Let's do this.
So, Jason, you're the
I was like, how are we gonna? What are we gonna go segue into now? I'm just like
anything. The possibilities are endless.
The possibilities.
Let's talk about penises. No.
So Jason, I wasn't aware of Seth, and then you shared his music with me. And how did you come to find out about Seth Jones?
So with the social media thing, we've talked about this before on this podcast, and we'll probably talk about it for a while as we continue to have people that I know from Twitter. Like the only good thing that I can say about social media over the last few years has come from my interactions with Twitter. Really, I know I've had a few great things on Instagram happen, but yeah, there's this whole community of folks that interact with each other regularly on Twitter. This little musical scene or whatever, and that's how I came across Seth. And it's a whole group, but it's funny because you interact with people on social media, and everybody's got a voice clearly, and a lot of people are creative types. But what's interesting to me is somehow this little group that I've stumbled and found myself a part of now is really good. Like they're really good at what they do.
The music is really good. Like
yeah.
Every week, like I'm like, wow, this is excellent music.
Yeah. Yeah. And I joked whatever it was. I think I put something on Facebook the other day. I joked like the best way to discover new music so far seems to be starting a podcast and inviting people to come on because yeah, we've had a lot, like a great string of really good people on here. Seth being the latest one, obviously.
To piggyback on what you said about like, damn, they're really good. I often think about that, like how here I hear penis. No more penis, Greg. Settle down. We just glazed right over that penis.
We sure did.
But yeah, I often think about not just the Twitter group you're referring to, which is definitely applicable to what you're saying, but just people that I've just met through music. I think to myself, like these people are not only really good but unique, and I don't know. There's something about that combination of good and unique. I don't just like good stuff. I like good and unique stuff. I'm not reading that. No, I'm not reading that, Greg.
There was your cat, though.
There was a cat. There was a cat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did have a cat on my lap. A black pussy cat. But anyway, what was I saying before we started talking about pussy cat?
Off the rails.
That went off the rails real quick.
No, I talk about.
I want to say
Twitter
I'm quite sure this is the first time we've talked about those two subjects on this podcast.
New punk song, penises and pussycats. I called it. Okay. But if I need a fiddle, you're the guy. But anyway, the combination of unique and good, that's why I love the old 97s. It's like that shit is super unique and extremely good. And then also Bowling for Soup, even though they are just, they're just a pop punk or pop punk band, but Jarrett's writing is weird as shit. Like it is unique. Their style is what it is. Lots of people have done it, but they have that really unique spin where he just says crazy shit, talks fast during a song. It's just unique, So I've always appreciated good, unique more so than really good. Does that make sense? Like I'd rather be a little less good, but unique as shit than the best.
Yeah.
That's just how my mind works.
Yeah, it makes you stand out a little bit more.
And you got to have something that makes you, sets you apart. Like you can put out something that's got like really great production, and it's just like middle of the road type of song, and you can put it on in the background or something. But I'm not going to pay attention that closely.
Yeah, you're basically describing top 40 radio.
Right.
The best example is top 40 country. They literally, you've seen those videos where they play the songs, they keep cutting back and forth, and it's just the same song. It's the exact same song with a different artist saying different lyrics, but I mean, even the lyrics are the same thing, kind of. They're talking about raping a girl at a lake with beer cans in the truck. I mean, it's all the same damn thing. And so, like you said, the best production in the world, the best studio players in the world, super good voice, but it's like you're just one in a million. Like we hear this all day from so many different people.
Yeah.
So I know what you're saying.
And I feel like with your songs, what I have been noticing is you clearly have the stellar production, but there's lyrical focus and content in your songs that you're not going to hear on that top 40 type of radio song.
Yeah, and when you said you gotta have something that sticks out,
Right.
I think that's what it is for me is not just my lyrical style, but the fact that I love punk so much that I can't get away from it, even when I'm writing a country song. I mean, I have before. I have some songs that are country as shit, but I mean, even the lyrics, like I'll have a super country song, but I'll have lyrics that you don't hear in country just because, like, my heart has like punk rock in it. It always has, and I always the thing I want the most is for people to actually listen to the lyrics because the music's cool, but it's nothing any more special than anybody else's music. But I've always respected songwriters who write songs that no one else could write. And that doesn't mean they're the best songs or the smartest. It's just a unique brain. So whenever I hear Rhett Miller singing, about Robert's dad, if Robert's dad was right, we might not make it through the night. Like, no one's going to write that because that's about his life and his brain. And he specifically says something you're not supposed to say in a song, if that makes sense. Like, you're not supposed to say if Robert's dad is right because the listener's like, who's Robert? But I want to say who's Robert. I want that to be in the song, and I don't want him to explain it. And then he mentions Robert again in a couple albums. It's just cool shit like that. I'm like, man, no one else but Rhett Miller could have written that song. That doesn't mean he's a better songwriter than the person who couldn't write it. It just means they couldn't write it because they didn't know. Like they don't know his brain. And I love writing shit like that. That's why I've got this song called Sumara, the punk song. My wife doesn't give a shit about it. She does not care about it. But I'm like, no one could ever have written that song, ever, because it's a very unique situation and it's very specific in the lyrics. So I was so proud of that song, and that's what I like about punk music is there's no rules in the writing. There's rules in country, like real country, but in punk there's no rules. So I can write those weird lines and shit, and they make me so happy. And I think that's why I write punk songs so quickly because it's easy.
But like even your latest single, My Mistake, which is again, stellar production. It sounds, I mean, I don't know the studio that you put it out in, but it could have been done in Nashville as far as I can tell from the production. It sounds top notch, but then you've got a lyric about you're turning tissue into rot.
Yeah, well, that I do like that lyric. This song was done in Garland, Texas.
Okay.
At Audio Dallas, which interestingly enough was where The Redheaded Stranger was recorded.
Okay.
Different people, but same building, same studio, and all that.
I think you mentioned the other day that you've pretty much stuck with the one studio. Is that the same studio you do pretty much everything at?
Yeah, let me give you a brief rundown on my recording history.
Okay.
Of course, everyone had, when they were in high school or whatever, everyone had the tape player that you plugged in the microphone, and that's where we did our demos, of course. So those are my first albums. And then I think we recorded in some dude's barn. He called it Cadillac Ranch. Terrible recordings. And then I turned about 20-ish, and I recorded with Phil Pritchett under Seth Jones. And he did a great job, but I sucked. My songs were basic. I was just learning how to write good songs, like structurally and all that. I mean, there were some cool lyrics and stuff, but there just wasn't anything special. And my voice was terrible. They just weren't good. Not his fault, my fault. And then I just did little like YouTube recordings with the Casio keyboard. And then down the line when I was about 27, 28, I recorded with Mike McClure in Ada, Oklahoma in his Boo Hatch basement. That's where I recorded Fuck You, and that's where I recorded Seth Amphetamines. And those were low quality recordings too. Again, not his fault, but we were just rushing it. We're just doing it. We were both, in retrospect, we were both depressed as shit. And I think those sessions were very therapeutic for us. But Fuck You is a great album. It even sounds good, even low quality. Seth Amphetamine sounds awkward, but it's still good, I think. And then I was like, man, will I ever have quality recording? Will that
So,
ever happen?
Can I back up? I want to interrupt you for a second. You said Mike McClure, like that's Mike McClure from Mike McClure Band, Mike McClure, like the Great Divide.
Badass, yeah, the
Okay.
badass Mike
Okay.
McClure. He, a little Mike McClure history. Back on MySpace, this is a long time ago. I might have been 21. I was living in some low-income housing apartments in Tyler, Texas, and we were low income. We had a kid in high school. So, anywho, I made him laugh at some stuff just because I was a smart ass. And he messaged me one time. He said, I'm going to spit my coke out when he said that. And then we just started DMing back and forth, funny shit, sharing funny YouTube videos and whatnot. And I was at the time thinking, I can't believe Mike McClure is just casually messaging me. This is when he was, he hadn't even done the foam album yet. He was producing all the big Red Dirt dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, he's just a cool guy. And then I would go to his shows sometimes, and he would in the middle of a song, he'd be like, Seth, is that you? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So he just always liked me a lot, and I always liked him. And then one time Samantha got drunk, my wife, and messaged Mike McClure and said, hey, will you record some stuff for Seth? And McClure was like, I will definitely do that. And they set it up, and I was like, okay. So I recorded Fuck You and Seth Amphetamines, and then I wanted top quality recording for real. And I started writing country songs simultaneously, and we found Audio Dallas, and those recordings were so quality and so efficient. Like he gets it done, at least gets me the roughs like almost immediately. That was such a good experience all around that I've recorded over 48, close to 50 songs. Yeah, over 50 songs with his name's Paul Osborne at Audio Dallas. I mean, 50 songs, man, over 50 songs. And then I also recorded with Salim Norala. He's a Dallas indie rock guy. He actually recorded the Grand Theater and the Grand Theater 2 of the Old 97s, and also recorded another Old 97s album and a Rhett Miller album. So he does animals, man.
Yeah.
It's Bimo and Asher the cat. But anyway, Bimo. Man, he looks so good I can't focus. I recorded with Salim a 4-track album, 4-song album the album was called Rebel Heart, which I love that song, by the way. He did a great job on it. And then I went back to Paul. Where else did I record? Oh, I'm currently recording the next Americanage album, which is going to be possibly I think it's going to be the highest quality production to date as far as sounds like it's on the radio. It's going to be I'm calling it an EDM punk album.
I heard you. I mean, I saw that you said that a couple of times, and I didn't know if it was a joke.
It is really happening. It's going to be. Think of pop punk, like Bowling for Soup of Blink-182, with some influence of the old 97s alt country type stuff, like Crying Drunk, like the old Ray Charles era old 97s. I'm sounding like a nerd right now, but think of the pop punk Bowling for Soup type with the real rockabilly whiskey soaked old 97 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get an EDM producer to put EDM elements over it. It's going to be wild. And we've already done the songs are solidified, which kind of makes me sad because I just wrote a couple good punk songs that I freaking love and wish were on there. But I'm not doing acoustic versions of those and put on the album. But we've done the drum tracks for 10 songs, so those are going to be the songs, and we're going to go back in and start building onto it. It's going to take some time, but like I said, it's going to be high quality. This guy, he's done as producer. His name's Casey Diorio, I think. He did Drunk Enough to Dance. He did a Hangover You Don't Reserve.
I was going to say that sounds familiar, that name.
Yeah. So you're working at Valve Studios, correct?
Yeah, Valve.
So let me just run down a few names of some bands that people probably know, especially me and Jason. We're very familiar, obviously, with Bowling for Soup. Zach Malloy's recorded there. Eric Chandler, the former bass player of Bowling for Soup, is recorded at Valve Studios. Blue October, Calhoun, one of my favorite bands, but also like acts like Andre 3000, Blues Traveler, One Republic, R. Kelly, and Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, yeah.
So So you're that's a heavyweight recording studio that you're recording in. What does that feel like when you're in there and you know that these big time musicians have recorded music in this
Well,
place that you're recording?
first, let me clarify for those who may not know as much about the music world as we do. Just because I'm not anything special or famous at all. I'm just they recorded there, and it's not like only people like that can record there.
Right.
Anyone, if you got the time and the money, can do it. So I went there and I was like, hey, I want to do that. So he was like, okay, this is how much it costs per day, and I was like, okay, I can make that happen. And as far as time goes, I'm a PRN health worker, so I can take off whenever I need to. Let's give him a heads up. So if he says, how's Thursday at 11 a.m., I can tell my work, hey, on Thursday, I either can't work or I can work till like 10. So I can make this I've set my life up in a way where I can make this happen. And since recording music and sharing it with the world is the only thing that brings me true joy, I don't know why I would spend my money on other stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm doing it. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, it's a good investment. I mean, but when you're in those is there like records on the walls and like you're like looking at memorabilia and stuff? Like, it's got to be a cool feeling to be there, right? I mean,
you're right. That element of just knowing that if those elite, some iconic, like Snoop Dogg's iconic,
right?
Iconic people have been in that studio doing stuff. CeeLo Green was there too. That's cool. But I've been in studios like that before. Like Audio Dallas has, Jack Ingram and lots of big acts. So that one is like, that didn't really blow me away. It was just kind of cool. What kind of blew me away was this was the most high dollar feeling studio I've been in. Like, modern type stuff. There's a little break room, a kitchen room with one of the faucets on the sink is always hot, so you can make tea, for the singers and stuff. There's a Golden Tee arcade golf game in the little kitchen thing. There's a little bar. It's just a really cool environment and it really makes you realize that the environment you're in and the mood that is set by the people you're with can influence and improve the art. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's not an accident that they have it set that way, because that's what they're trying to do, is create a place for people to be able to produce good shit. And I mean, the fact that they've had very successful artists come through also helps. But having a place where somebody can come in and feel at home and welcome, and then also just I don't know, a good vibe throughout the whole thing, that makes a big difference.
It really does. It doesn't just help you relax, but it gives you confidence because you feel like, hey, I'm a legit artist. I'm in a legit artist spot. Like, this is, it helps peel away any inhibitions you may have had.
And I don't know what your experience was there, but it also matters how, like, the attitude of the person that you're working with and how they are treating you as an artist. Are they treating you like somebody they're trying to shuffle through the door in and out? Are they treating you like we're about to make something special?
You're 100% correct. We both have cats in our background. I think that's incredible. Look, both black cats too, right?
He's not black. He's a Siamese. He's a.
My cat's blacker than shit. I think he's about to go outside now. Bye, Asher. Weirdo. He won't come back for 72 hours. But anyway, you're correct about like how they make you feel, how they're treating you. And this guy, Casey, when I was in the control room, we were listening to Jason lay the drum stuff. Jason Garner, he's the old 97's guitar tech. And I broke a string and he restrung my Martin. And I'm like, I don't know if I ever want to get these restrung again. Like, Brett Miller's guitar tech restrung this. I kind of want to frame it now, Right. But Jason was laying the drum tracks, and every time someone does something, finishes something, Casey's like, good job, man. That's really good. You'll do it another time. Like, he's just super positive. And like you said, that's got to be by design. And it's not that he's faking it. That's just he learned how to talk to people.
Right.
That's who he is.
That's how he's going to get the right. That's how he's going to get high quality content out of you. is having that kind of interaction with you. Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Like, long ago, I was in some studios where people like treated me like I should feel privileged to be there, and it was a dump. Like it was a dump. Like nobody had recorded there. Hell, I remember we traded a freaking 8-track, 8-track, not 8-track. I don't know what I'm talking about, but a hard drive, for recording time because he needed a hard drive. So we bought him a hard drive and we got some recording time. Like, but they kind of treated us like crap. So
It's I think that all goes together. The dump is going to have people that treat you like crap, and the really awesome, cool space is going to have awesome, cool producers.
Yeah, yeah.
So Seth, you've produced a lot of music, or you've released a lot of music the last couple of years. You've got, whether it be your punk Americarnage group or your country rock music, you put out numerous EPs and albums the last couple of years. But most recently, in fact, last Friday, September 9th, you released My Mistake, your latest single.
You released Justin's Mistake last week.
Yeah, it's everyone's mistake when they say it out loud. Yeah.
Right.
You put out My Mistake.
But so, two-part question. So what has been the response to that song from people that have listened to it? And what is that song, I guess three-part question. What does that song mean to you? What is that song necessarily about?
Okay, I immediately forgot every question except for the last one. But I'll talk about the song.
Yeah, just talk about the song.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
I remember the response. Okay.
Yeah.
I've had more direct responses. With my past songs, I've had like my friends would share it, and sometimes random people would share it, and that's really awesome and cool. And that happened again. But I've had people DM me things like, dude, this is your best sounding song. Like, I don't know how it seems like every time you release something, it starts sounding better and better and better. And someone said, man, this one's really good. I think it's my favorite. I've had that type of response, and that is unique to this song. And I'm just guessing here. I don't know for sure. I think I've gotten better at singing, and also my style has strayed further from country and more towards rock, and that's been my design.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to do that ever since I released Whiskey Attitude, the double album, which had a lot of rock on it too. But ever since then, I've slowly been saying, man, I want to do more rock stuff. And of course, I've got Americarnage, which is always rock. But then a lot of my country stuff it's basically just country rock now, or whatever you want to call it, alt country. But yeah, this song's had a good response, and I think it's those two factors. I think I do sing it better than I sing other stuff, and it's this song and the ones I'm going to release in the coming months. They are more rock influenced for sure, like from my heart, not just from my brain.
Can I ask you what, like, how do you feel about the term Americana?
No one knows what it is. I'm sure there is an official definition, but also no one cares about it. And if no one goes by official definitions, then it doesn't matter.
I mean, do you ever describe what you do as Americana?
To me personally, when I hear Americana, I think of traditional instrumentation, acoustically.
Okay.
Like acoustic mandolin, acoustic guitar. I guess that's kind of acoustic fiddle. That bluegrassy.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear Americana, the word Americana, I think of stuff like that, like mandolin, fiddle, acoustic guitar. That's just me though. There's people that call country rock bands Americana, and
right.
I don't really know why.
I don't
know explanation for it.
I feel like it's a big umbrella term, and I've heard people talk about it. Some people hate it, partly because it's just so vague that everything can be considered Americana.
Country is that now. I mean, if someone says turn on some country music, if you say, hey, turn on some country music, they might turn on 90s hip hop, and they're like, it's on the country playlist. The guy's got a cowboy hat. I mean, the term country music has been so heavily bastardized that it means nothing almost to most people.
And I want to try not to be contradictory
to people.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be contradictory to my own views because I am also the kind of person who I think that somebody thinking that they need to produce a certain genre of music and stick to that exclusively is really, I mean, it's by definition it's artificial, right? So
Yeah.
I don't really even like the idea of talking about genres. I understand that you have to have it because of uh, marketing. Really, that's really the reason that you have to have. That's the only reason we talk about genres is
Exactly.
because we want to market. You know, it works, right?
You
To
want to put it in a
market,
box. What box does it fit in?
I mean,
right?
at least sets you on a road. So that they're like, "What road are you on?" I'm on this road. They
Yeah,
didn't say where on the road. You could be, the thing about an interstate. I could be in Florida or Louisiana or Texas, but this is the road I'm on.
right. Yeah,
That's kind of a good way to look at it. It gives you something. Like if I say I'm country, yeah, it might be a hip hop song, but we're talking about trucks and shit,
right,
or it
right.
just gives you an indicator. In an old town road, that's not remotely country in any way, but they're talking about horses.
Sure.
So there you go. Let's
Yeah.
put you on the road.
Yeah. But yeah, it is another kind of common theme I think amongst the folks that we've had on this podcast as well. It's like there's a big, like, they put out songs. A lot of us have put out songs where it feels very much like it would fit right in the lane of country music, but then there's so much that veers off to the left or the right or up or down, whatever you want to call it, outside of that lane. Yeah, like, this is the kind of stuff that interests me. It's somebody who does different stuff like that, whether it's lyrically or with the style of the music. Clearly, you're doing that. You're not afraid to put out a punk EDM album.
Exactly.
If that's the mood that strikes you.
And to me, I obviously have preferences, musical preferences, like the sound and the genre, of course, like we're talking about. But I have preferences. I like traditional country. I like alt country. I like punk rock. I do like some EDM, not much.
Yeah.
But to me, I mean, you like what you like, so you don't have to try to think what's our sound going to be. Like,
Right.
do what you like. Just write the song you like,
and you're not doing hip hop. Like, you're not, like, I don't think we could describe any song that I've heard of you do like as hip hop. You're not rapping. I've not heard any auto tune in your voice so far. Maybe you'll have that in the future. It can be a tool, but
there is a rapper out there named Meth Bones, and people think that's me, but it's not. But you can listen to it if you want to.
I'm like,
That's all I have to say.
I'm watching you say that, and I'm like, is this a serious comment or?
You can talk to Zach Welch about Meth Bones.
Oh, we're gonna find out.
He's familiar, and Ethan Whitaker. Ethan Whitaker. Rumor has it he was there when Meth Bones recorded his EP. I don't know. I've nothing to do with it, so don't look at me.
Well, see, that also goes to show you there's so much content out there. Like you said, you write and release a ton of music. Like, so Suicide Day was, according to what I saw, was it's released in 2022. And then you also had Cinci released in 2022. Now you've got this new single that was put out in 2022. But what Suicide Day was, I think what I looked at was like January 1st. It's like the first of the year it was
yeah,
released.
I did that on purpose because all those songs were written when I was in deep depressive states, and in some cases did want to kill myself.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, and I wasn't gonna. I recorded them all because I had to. Like, I was just like, man, I need to record these. This is like heavy shit for me. And then I was thinking, I don't know if I'm ever going to release. Maybe I'll trickle one out on each new album or something, but I don't want to do a Suicide Day album because that is controversial. Like, I'm sure there's people that thought I was celebrating suicide. Not at all. But you'll run into shit like that. So I was thinking maybe just don't release it. And then me and our buddy, I know that Colton knew him. Colton Mathis knew him, and Chris Cunningham knew him. I think Zach Welch knew him. Anyway, our buddy. He killed himself. I don't remember when it was, last spring or something. But I mean, it wasn't far from, it was last year, not too far from right now. But Anyway, he killed himself, and I thought, that kind of jarred me, obviously. And I thought to myself, I need to release that album. Like
Yeah.
that's cathartic to people. Like there's people that they think they're the only ones that feel like that.
Right.
Those albums lyrically, they're pretty descriptive and real and raw about how people think of those states, about their relationships, about what's in their head, and about what they just crave. I mean, there are times where I crave death. I wrote a letter one time. I haven't read it since I wrote it. It's very short. It was like 3 sentences. It's when I finally realized the ultimate solution is to die. That's the ultimate solution. You cannot find a more perfect thing to do. Because I hate that I'm talking about this because I'm not depressed anymore. But I'm just telling you, this is what I thought.
Yeah.
Dude, if I just died right now, I would never have to deal with this again, ever. I would never have any other problems whatsoever. And everyone's gonna die anyway. Why would I do it now? Like I logically, pragmatically thought my way into the fact that death was what I was supposed to have.
Mm-hmm.
If it's possible. Like why put it off? I could win now. That was my mindset. And I wrote a letter. Like I said, 3 sentences. And when I read it, it was so real and so true and so correct that it like sent chills down my spine. And I thought, oh my God, I figured it out. It's not good. So I folded it up and put it in my drawer. I haven't looked at it yet. But anyway, the Suicide Day album, I wanted to release it on January 1st because that's like the most suicidal day of the year. Like
Yeah.
people kill themselves during the holidays and on January 1st all the time. And it's terrible, obviously. But I thought in my head, realistically, not many people listen to me. But in my head, I was like, what if I released this and someone listened to it and it made them rethink it? Like on the off chance. Like, why wouldn't I release it then if I could help somebody? So that was my rationale for that decision.
Well, it's I mean, it's a very powerful EP like group of songs, I think. And to me, so like if I'm going to say that something is Americana and kind of thinking about it in the way that you kind of described it as well, I would say that from what I've heard, and I have not heard everything that you've put out. But
it's too tall of a task.
It is yeah, I think it's a tall. Is everything available, by the way? Is everything out there?
Obviously, as a songwriter, I've got like 100 songs.
Right.
But everything that I've
recorded,
essentially everything I've recorded is out. Like there's
out
some
there
old school stuff that was real shitty that's not.
Yeah.
That's not good anyway, so don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, so, if I think about it in terms of like if I think about like Southeastern by Jason Isbell, that album was huge for me, getting me influencing me to write music again. Suicide Day reminds me of that, and the sound of it, and also just the subject matter is just, you're not going to put on a country record and hear these things discussed, and then you move from the peaceful Suicide Day into the Suicide Day, the title track, which is like a full-on rock song.
Yeah. I remember, sorry to cut you off, but
no, that's okay. Go ahead.
Night at like 2 a.m., I was at a hotel. I think it just played a show. I was in a hotel somewhere, and Suicide Day released. And at about 2 a.m., I don't know why I was awake, but Zach Welch called me. That's why I was awake. He called me. I may have been awake anyway, but it sounded like there's some stuff going on in the background. And he's like, "Hey, man, what's up, dude? The new album's fucking killer, bro." And I'm like, "Yeah, thank you, man. I'm really excited about it." And he said, after hearing that whole album being real quiet, I did not expect some fucking Hank Williams Jr. boogie woogie shit at the very end. He said, "That was badass." I was like, "Thanks, man." And he said something, this is not verbatim. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he seamlessly transitioned it into, "Man, don't kill yourself, please. I don't know if how you're feeling, but," and I was like, no, dude, I'm good. I appreciate it. But he specifically wanted to make sure I was okay. You know what I mean? I had a couple of friends like that. And I told them both, like, "Hey, man, I wrote these, but I wasn't okay. I'm doing better now." Which I was still super depressed at that time and after, but not the type of depression where not suicidal depression. You know?
Yeah. How is it? Not not being in that state of mind anymore. How is it performing those songs? Do you
I
perform
don't.
them?
I
You
do
don't.
not. I have not played them since. Now I've practiced Suicide Day before just because I love that song. I
Mhm.
love the lyrics. I love the chords. I love the melody. I love saying I tried, but I love everything about that damn song. But I also don't want to. In the same vein that people misinterpret it, I don't want my live shows to have a song about that.
Yeah.
Now I have another song in the can, as they say. I've got, I think, 11 more from the same sessions as My Mistake. I've got 11 more songs, and they're done. They're mastered. They're done.
Oh, okay.
And one of them is called "Killing Myself," and that one, it's a very fun sounding song, just like "Suicide Day" is a fun
Right.
song.
Right.
But "Killing Myself," I don't know how to explain it. It's the chorus is, "How could I ever forgive you? You stopped me from killing myself." And it's basically saying like, I wanted to kill myself and I didn't because of you. Okay? Because I love you and you're my family and you begged me not to. And now I have to live with this shit. And I can't forgive you for that. Which sounds super dark.
Sure.
When you hear it sounds fucking fucked up dark, all right? But when you hear the song, it's one of the most happy sounding songs you've ever heard. And you kind of feel like it's more of a narrative on a situation than something that actually happened. If that makes sense. I'll send you the song when we're done with this. I want you to hear it.
I love it.
Yeah, I'll send you anything. I don't give a shit.
I want the inside scoop to everything you've got there.
That song is it's a really cool sounding. It's punk as shit, dude. It's got my country vocals, but it's punk as shit. You'll be surprised. I think it's got some good fiddle on there too. But it's truly unique because it sounds super happy and punky, but it's not a happy subject.
Well, I think it's interesting that Zach called you about that because Zach's got some fucking dark songs, man. Like and I know he's got some co-writes on which one was it that he co-wrote with?
He co-wrote
Religion.
Too Drunk to Try.
Too Drunk to Drive.
They co-wrote that with Chris Cunningham, who's on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which they did. I'm not a co-writer. I've co-written before, and I'm just like, man, I have my way of doing it, and I do it efficiently and effectively.
Yeah.
I would like to be a better co-writer, but you have to practice.
Me too. Yeah.
You have to practice co-writing to be a good co-writer.
Yeah.
And I plan on co-writing with one of the guys from the band Laredo. We've already talked about it.
Oh yeah.
I will be getting some practice. And I've tried co-writing with country, and I've come up with good songs with people. My friend Kobe Allen and me, we came up with a really cool song. Me and Cunningham came up with 2 cool songs, but I don't even know if they sound like. I forgot them because then when I'm done writing with them, I'm thinking, man, I have another idea, and then I start writing new songs, and I forgot what I co-wrote. So this doesn't seem fun to me if I'm just going to forget it. Now, if I co-write with someone and then they cut it, that would be fun and cool. But I'll literally forget the song after I write it. So it's not fun. Or cool.
I've never, as far as I can recall, I've never actually co-written with anyone. I started like almost a joke with Peyton Matus the other day on Twitter, like about co-writing a song with him, and then he sent me a video, and I took a stab at coming up with something, and it didn't work very well, and so I might circle back to it and try to finish or try to give him something that he can actually use.
Well, what's crazy is, let me cough real quick. What's crazy is you don't always know who you're going to co-write well with.
Right.
And once again, this is coming from a guy that don't really co-write, but I've co-written before. And I co-wrote one night. He came over specifically to write. Me and Zach Welch. And we didn't come up with hardly shit. Dude, I'm a guy, not to brag, this is the truth. I could write a song a night forever, and they would all be, I would like them all. Like, I would be satisfied with them just because I'm a words person and I can do that. So I thought, man, Zach will come over. We're easily going to nail at least one good, cool song. And we started working on a really drive-by trucker style very lyrical storytelling song.
Yeah.
With great shit in it, but it's almost like we weren't supposed to be writing it. I promise you, it was good lyrics.
Yeah.
But we didn't finish it because I'm like, man, this isn't us. Like, why are we doing this? That's what I was thinking to myself. So just shelved it and never went back to it. But
Yeah.
I think if I started a punk song and gave it to Zach or vice versa, I think if he started a punk song and then gave it to me, we'd co-write the shit out of some songs. I think it would have to be like that.
But maybe like separately, like he does a little bit, sends it to you, you do a little bit.
Yeah,
send
exactly.
It back.
Like if he had an idea for the chorus and sent
Right.
it to me, and then had an idea for, and then I took it and I like kind of put my spin on it and then sent it back to him for a verse. I think that would be. I think we could write a lot of really good shit because
I think that's
similar.
Yeah, I think that's the only way I could do it too, because I have to be able to like go into my own space when I'm trying to think of when I'm trying to come up with lyrics. I and it's almost like I don't want anybody to be around when it happens, because it's like a vulnerability there where I'm trying to come up with, I don't want to put out, I don't want somebody to catch me saying something too personal or too stupid.
And then maybe you don't even mean it.
Exactly.
You're just working on it. They think that's how you are. You're like, no, I was just fucking practicing. I'm writing a song. Leave me alone.
Like I was just coming up with a word that rhymed and it didn't work. So
I don't really have a small dick. It's just I just want to try it out. No, but that's you're 100% correct. I agree with you. But then think about the technical terms of fleshing out a song. I tell my wife, like, leave, like, go for a walk or lock yourself in our room because I need to write a song.
Yeah.
And I've been with her since the 8th grade. Like, we're close, damn it. So, but it's still, when you're writing a song, and you're doing the phrasing and the melody.
Yep.
You have to hit certain notes and shit. And I don't want her to hear me sounding like a jackass for 15 minutes, just trying to find the note and the key and like the phrasing. Like I don't want to sound like an idiot to anyone while I'm writing a song, doing shit that sounds stupid when I know I have to do that to achieve the sound that I need for this song. So I agree with you. I like to be in my room by myself with a glass of whiskey and my guitar with my iPad thing in front of me, and I'm playing it and thinking shit. I'm like, oh, and I type that down and I go over the phrasing. Like I have a process. It is super efficient. Dude, last night about midnight, I had an idea for a chorus because I've been listening to a lot of Say Anything, that band, which let me give you some shit to listen to at some point. But just really weird shit, man, like a rock opera style, emo punk rock opera, crazy. And so some unique melodies. So I went into my writing room and I wrote a chorus that I loved. It took me 20 minutes. And then I went to work today and I came home and I finished the song in 10 minutes. That's a 30-minute song that I could do every day if I wanted to, but I can't do that when other people are present.
Yeah, right.
Like I have to be by myself and letting all this weird shit in my head happen and coalesce into a fucking writing session. And it's so efficient and rewarding. And I'm not incentivized to co-write when it's literally going to retard the progress of me writing songs.
Right.
No, it is.
Hey, you know what I just realized? We need to get you to do a song.
All right. Well, I'll try my damnedest. I am slightly altered right now. Like that game, Altered Beast. I'm an Altered Beast. Yeah, I'm Altered Beast mode.
You know what's funny? I remember that game from arcades, but I think I only maybe and it was always awesome in the arcades. But then when I tried to play it on the Sega Genesis, I think I maybe played the first level or something, and I never played it all the way through.
Well, Altered Beast, much like Golden Axe, remember Golden Axe? Those two things were most popular because of skating rink arcades and people, Mazzio's Cafe. That's basically just arcades.
Yeah.
They were on Sega Genesis.
Right.
But we all played the shit out of it at the arcade. Golden Axe, put in your quarters. And Altered Beast was like that. They put in your quarters. And they made those games hard because they wanted more quarters.
Right.
That's why they made them hard, difficult, whatever. Okay, so I will try and play My Mistake. And I don't know what it is about the song, but when I did the music video, when I played it at the album release show that I hijacked from Zach's show, and right now, every time I play this song, I think I don't remember it, but I always play it right. So this will be the time that I don't play it right. So get ready for
Don't
that.
jinx it.
No, don't jinx it.
It's too late. All right, but let's see what happens. I'm going to take my shit off, my headphones,
Yep.
and start playing.
Sounds good.
If it sounds like if something goes drastically wrong, just wave, frantically at the camera, and I'll pick up the headphones.
Will do.
Here it is, My Mistake. I will try to stem the flow of tears and crying eyes produce, but it's hard to hold the hurt when you're telling me the truth. And the truth that I've been facing is the one that cut me loose, 'cause I can't stand another sick waiting on your heart to choose. And you chose your own heart over mine. It ain't wrong, but it ain't right. Throw it all out in the night. Every memory we'd ever tried to make. You made your decision. Make you my mistake. You decided that you're leaving, but the love we used to make clings to me like rainbow bushes in a way that I can't shake. If these lessons that we're learning, then by God you taught me well, 'cause the heaven that you showed me turned my life into this hell. And you chose your own heart over mine. It ain't wrong, but it ain't right. Throw it all out in the night. Every memory we'd ever tried to make. You made your decision. Make you my mistake. And I know that everybody has a problem on their mind, but the problem that I face is plants these painful thoughts inside, and they bury deep like poison. They turn tissue into rock, leaving me an empty shell of a lover you forgot. And you chose your own heart over mine. It ain't wrong, but it ain't right. Throw it all out in the night. Every memory we'd ever tried to make. You made your decision. Made you my mistake.
That was great.
That was great.
You didn't mess up. See?
I don't think he can
I
hear
did
us yet.
not mess up fully. I made a little hiccup error, but who gives a shit?
You nailed it. That was great.
You know, as you play that on an acoustic guitar, I can hear the punk more than I heard on the actual studio recording of it.
Well,
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, I didn't play the rhythm in the studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those guys are significantly better than me at instruments. So I'm like, y'all make this shit sound better. Now the Americarnage stuff, that's me playing sloppy ass rhythm guitar, which I like both. I like expert musicians like you and Colton Mathis, and I also like fuckheads like me and Zach Welch. I think all that shit needs to come together right now over me.
Well, Greg Johnson, he really enjoyed the song, and we appreciate Greg for all his comments and for
Love
always,
Greg Johnson.
yeah, thanks for always supporting the show. And speaking of Greg, he had a great question, just real quick, Seth.
Oh,
He
yeah,
had a
this is a
question
good
for
one.
you. Y'all were talking about co-writing songs. Well, he was going to ask about song swaps, and
Let me read it.
apparently you've done some of that in the past. He says, "What is it like doing song swaps with other artists, local bars, and who are some of your favorite people to work with?"
That's a great question. Like I said earlier, I oftentimes wonder how I've accrued such a stable of talented and different artists, and I do have a lot of those people. And whenever my booking agent books me a 3-hour solo acoustic gig, the first thing I do is take it from a solo gig to a song swap, because I would like to give my friends money, more gigs if they want more gigs, and they do. And I would like to have more fun while doing half the work. I mean, if the only reason I could think to do a 3-hour solo acoustic gig by myself is if I was strapped for cash, and I have a full-time job, I have money. I don't have a lot of money, but I have enough. So I would much rather turn this gig into a lot more fun event for me and for the crowd, and build memories with my friends. And I don't know, dude. The memories alone.
Yeah.
The gig's more fun, and every time I do a song swap with someone, I remember shit about that I would not have remembered if I had done some basic ass show by myself. So I don't know if I'm going to someday become the song swap guy, but it's happening. I'm doing it. I love song swaps, and I hate playing by myself. I've done 3-hour gigs by myself plenty of times, and the best one was not half as fun as the worst song swap.
Yeah. I 100%. Like, I have on the shows that I've done by myself. God, with some exceptions, of course, but a lot of times it's just like, God damn it, is this over yet?
See, yeah, it's just not. It's not cool. It feels like a job.
Yeah, it does. But if you've got somebody up there with you, you can shoot the shit, you can crack jokes, and if nobody else laughs, you're laughing at each other.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't. Like I said, I get it. If you need money, I get it. But let's take that out of it. I don't know why anyone would prefer to play by themselves when they can have their buddy with them.
Yeah, I think I've been thinking about that recently, actually, and I've come to the conclusion that if I can find somebody to do a show with me, if I get a show booked by myself, and if I can find anybody that I want obviously to come do it with me, I'm never gonna do a show by myself anymore. I just don't want to. I did a show. I did this past weekend. I did one by myself because I hadn't come to this realization yet in time to really try to get anybody to come do it. And it was fun because the people who booked me really listened and liked it, and it was a great place to be. But my goal is to have that pretty much be the last time I'm doing a show by myself, because I want to do song swaps. I want to do those kinds of settings where you're hanging out with somebody else who's a songwriter. Also, you get to I'm gonna ask that person about the song that they're doing. Like, dude, how'd you come up with that? It's almost like an interview right there on the on the spot, because I'm gonna talk to them even if there's nobody paying attention in the crowd. I enjoy it more.
Well, we're on the exact same page in this front, and I will definitely add you to my roster. I don't have an official roster, but it's like people that it's a Rolodex in my head. Whenever I book a new show, I'm like I haven't played with Mason Merrick for a while. Let me text him first, or Lucas Jagno. I'll text him, or man, this is right there. This is Fort Worth. Let me text Mondo or Zach. Chris Cunningham, Colton Mathis. I've got these people that I think about. Sam Garrett, I played one with him a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, I'll just put you in that Rolodex. And, for example, you live near Round Rock, Hutto area.
Right, yeah.
So, if I booked a show in Austin, I'd probably think, let's see Jason Harrell.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't think Zach first.
Yeah.
It's, location and when have I played with them last. Those are factors.
Yeah. Well, I'll be coming up there to do some shows with Zach at the end of October. I'll travel if it's a Saturday. I'll go pretty much anywhere, as long as I don't have something else booked. But
I'm kind of the same way. Assuming I didn't assuming I don't pick up work on the weekend, which, like I said, I'll work when I want to and not. But
Yeah.
If you said, "Hey Seth, I have a song swap I'm wanting to put together in Austin." Okay, Austin's like 5 hours away from me. Fucking Galveston, I don't give a shit. If you said I got a song swap going, it's going to be in a month on a Saturday, I would just say, okay, I'll make sure I'm not working. You know,
Yeah.
if I got to take off, or if it's Friday, I'll be like, okay, I'll tell them I can't work Friday.
Yeah.
And then we can party Friday. So yeah, dude, I'm the same way. I'll travel.
Yeah,
I'll make it happen.
I've got this idea in mind. Maybe we can talk a bit more like offline, but I got this idea in mind of having sort of a recurring song swap thing at a venue that I like to play at. Anyway, we'll have some conversations about this later.
Know that I'm into this idea, and yeah, we gotta do some DMing because I gotta share you my. Remind me to send you
the songs,
a couple songs, and then the say anything stuff. Remind me of that shit.
Yeah,
that doesn't even ring a bell to me. Do you know that band, Justin?
I feel like I've heard them recently, or I've heard of them.
In my opinion, let me tell you, I have to curate this for you because, in my opinion, and I'm not saying this to be mean. I don't like to disparage people at all, even famous people. But in my opinion, 90% of their stuff is like just good. Like, okay, that's good. It's quality. But 10% of it is fucking awesome. Like unique, cool, sounds good, like a rock opera type shit. I will curate that and send you those. Basically, I'm just sending you my favorite songs of theirs.
I'm looking forward to it.
If you want to pursue the stuff that I said isn't good, go ahead. You might like it.
Well, I'm a musician because I'm a fan of music. You know what? I'll take that back. I'm a songwriter because I'm a fan of music.
That makes sense.
I would have been a musician anyway, probably because I just kind of, it was like a puzzle trying to figure, like I had to figure out this puzzle of how to do these things on an instrument. But wanting to create songs is because I like to listen to songs. Like I'm a big fan of music.
It's funny you say that. It just jogged my mind a little bit to something I haven't really delved into. I'll often say I don't like music nearly as much as other people. For a prolific songwriter that writes shit all the time, you would think I'm obsessed with music. I don't care about music as much as other people. I promise you, out of all my friends, Lucas Jagno, dude, he loves music. I'm pretty sure you love music. Zach Welch loves music. Colton Mathis freaking loves music. I get fixated. Like I see Rhett Miller as a writer, and I'm thinking, I want to write songs like that. Like that's what I want to do. I don't give a shit about the music. I want to write that. I want to write those lyrics. I want to come up with the phrasing and the melodies, and I want people to put music on it. I don't care about the music. I love writing. I love words so much. And I love the way you can make a word mean something else by singing a certain way or yelling it or whispering it before a chorus or something. You know what I mean? I love that shit. So it's not my love for music that made me want to write songs. I think it was my love for songwriters, for certain songwriters. I always say Mike McClure, one of my favorites ever. Jarrett Reddick, one of my favorites ever. Rhett Miller probably is my favorite ever if I had to pick one. And then Anthony Ranieri from the band Bayside. They're a punk emo type band. He writes the best spite songs I've ever heard. I'm talking not just his lyrics, but the music they put behind it, just the spite. There's a song called They're Not Horses, They're Unicorns, which is a very metal sounding name for a song.
Right.
And it's the first line after the guitars are going boom, da, 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 boom, bah, bah, like just sinister, crunchy, evil guitars. It stops and you hear and he says, you're pulling out your teeth and on the Novocaine pump in your cheek. And I'm like, holy shit. Like he literally just said that. And that was just the first line to an extremely spiteful song.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any nicer from that point on.
Yeah. Like, and what's crazy is I remember one time and I think in high school, God, was it in high school? This happened. Some teacher of mine at some point commented that basically it was something to the effect of, I'm saying a bunch of words to you right now, but there's a very strong chance, almost a certainty, that the exact order and phrasing of what I'm saying to you has never been said to you before. And that's songwriting, that's
Yeah.
what catches you, holy shit, that's a feeling I can relate to, but nobody's said it quite that way.
Exactly.
Nobody's said it with nobody's referenced Robert or whatever,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you mentioned
It's like
earlier.
we talked about earlier, the most popular songs in the world, like the Nashville top 40 country stuff. Not
Uh-huh.
only have I heard that before, I've heard it 20 times today.
Right.
Different artists.
I feel like for me, the first time that I actually ever really thought about that was, and I can't remember exactly the song, but it was the Counting Crows. Counting Crows songs.
That's some lyrics right there, baby.
Yeah. The lyrics a lot of times they have this level of specificity that it's clearly that's about something that happened.
That's what Rhett Miller and Jarrett Reddick do.
Yeah.
Rhett more so than Jarrett, but that's what I'm talking about. That what'd you say? Specificity, spectacles, testicles, wallet, watch,
spectacles.
specificity, whatever. Like I said, I'm altered right now, but yeah, it makes me care about it because I know when they start talking about Robert or whatever, I know that they're about to talk about some shit I ain't never heard about.
Yeah.
And that immediately draws me in. And then you throw some badass music on top of it. I'm in. I'm in, dude.
Let me ask you, do you sometimes find that you start with a song about an idea or a phrase or whatever, and then by the time you're done with it, you kind of have it's nowhere near like what you thought it was going to be, like the topic or the the theme of the song?
Let me put it this way. This is another reason why I like writing punk so much more than country. Whenever I'm writing a country song, I know there's some rules, but that's not even my point.
Mm-hmm.
I write it for a topic based on a clever phrase or title.
Mm-hmm.
That's what country's about. It's like, damn, what a brilliant title. That's how a country song starts. Time's a Pouring, that song I have. I'm just using myself as an example because I know my songs. Time's a Pouring. A little girl said that to me at a party with friends. They had a girl, she was like 5 or something. We're playing Taboo, and she was definitely a hyper little girl. We had to give her something to do. So we gave her a top, what's it called? A sand. I can never think of that.
Oh, yeah, the timer, what do you call those things?
Oh my God, there's always something. My wife always
Hourglass.
Hourglass. Yeah, like my favorite type of woman, hourglass. Yeah, but yeah. So she had an hourglass, and she was so antsy to use it because she's 5, and we were discussing the rules, kind of having an argument, and then she flipped it over. She said, "Better hurry up, time's a pouring," and I was like, "Oh my God." I've never heard someone say time's a pouring. And who would say that? That's improper.
Right.
Of course, a 5-year-old weirdo hyper girl would say it. And I knew right then and there, I've got to name a song, Time's a Pouring, and then right around it. So I was already on a path there. Like I knew it was going to be about we're missing each other and we're wasting time. We got to be together. So I knew writing that country song, it was going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
But with punk songs, I start playing like a cool, fun riff, and I have these, and I think of a crazy line, and I have no idea what I'm about to write. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's going to be a love song, a hate song, a fun song, or nothing. I have no idea. But I start playing in the song. I just start writing the song. And then at some point, when I'm writing these cool lines, a point comes up. Like, oh, here's the point of the song. I just got to it. And then that's when it's on. And that's usually when I start refining it. And like I said, man, I'm telling you, I've written so many punk songs that I love. Now, if they're good or not, that's subjective. But I really think they're good as a songwriter. They took me 30 minutes or less. It's just because I'm into the punk songs. I'm into it, and I start writing it. I get to use my words, which is my best feature is words. I get to use it. I get to unleash it, and then at that point, I'm like, damn, I'm excited. Yes, I like the song, and then I can write the song real quick.
So you talk about songwriting. You mentioned Jarrett Reddick a couple times there. So Jarrett Reddick, of course, lead singer of Bowling for Soup. And in the mid 2000s, he wrote a song called Ohio, right? So you released a song earlier this year called Cinci. And me and Jason both, I think collectively, whenever Jason sent me the song and I listened to it, I was like, oh, that sounds like a song I know very well. Were you inspired by the Ohio song from Bowling for Soup?
So
go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say before you answer, and I'm desperately anxious to hear your answer, but I want to say from my perspective, and probably from yours too, it's not that it sounds like Ohio. It's just that like the sentiment is very
the idea
familiar.
Right.
I'll say this: the genesis of that song had nothing to do with BFS. I just thought of the line. I don't know. I may have been at work or something. I thought. She's been in Cinci ever since he stole her heart. And I thought, oh my God, that's a badass, true country music.
Yeah.
Like witty, like Keith Whitley shit. Like that was really good line. And then just like Times of Pouring, I knew I have to write this damn song. I have to write that line in a song at least. And then when I started writing it, I was like, okay, it's going to be called Cinci. That's a cool name for a song, you know?
Yeah.
And then when I started writing it, I'm sure, I don't remember specifically what happened, but I'm sure at some point I thought, man, this is a girl leaving Texas to go to Ohio.
Yeah, right. Now, how many songs like that are there, right?
And I was like, have I ever heard of a song like that? And of course, being a huge Jarrett Reddick and Bowling for Soup fan, I immediately thought, man, this is like come back to Texas, Ohio, you know? And then when I figured out I'm writing a similar song to Ohio, to Bowling for Soup, when I got to the bridge, I thought, I'm just going to fucking for real rip off Jarrett, like for real. And not in a bad way, obviously. He's one of my heroes. I thought I'm going to pay homage to him, you know. That was the idea there. So the bridge is, I guess she does not mind the snow and rain, if you ask me. And that's exactly what he says. You know, I guess she doesn't mind the snow and rain. I don't even know I didn't know it snowed and rained in Ohio a lot. I have no idea.
I've been to Ohio one time. It was brutal. I went actually around the time Ohio came out, and I was listening to that song. I went to Canton, Ohio, which is the home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Of course.
Which I was there covering a football game, a college football game, and I listened to that song on the plane, and I got there in this. I mean, it was snowing, it was raining. It was like 4:30. It was like 4:30 in December, and it was like pitch black, like it was night. It was the most depressing place ever. It's like I know why LeBron James left Cleveland twice now. I totally understand. Like it's brutal.
Jarrett says I think has said that he didn't know that the snow and the rain part was accurate either until after he wrote the song. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I was just trusting Jarrett, and apparently he was just trusting nothing. So I guess it's serendipitous that we were correct. But I remember when I wrote that, I was like, I remember thinking one of my goals, I hope I can make sure Jarrett hears the song at some point in our lives. Not just because it'd be cool for him to listen to my song, but too, so I could be like, hey, I knew I ripped you off. I did it on purpose because I love you. You know,
Seth, I know a guy who knows Jarrett.
No, there's no way. There's no way you know someone.
There's no way. No, I don't.
Who's had any contact on or off stage with Jarrett Reddick.
Hey,
no one's that cool.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know.
Yes,
because you mentioned you were altered. Do you think you could play that song for us?
Ooh, there's a chance.
Yeah.
I'll probably run out of breath during the bridge.
You can take a break if you need to. Like,
yeah, I'll just go. I'll just do a punk style.
Put your hands on your knees.
Yeah, I can play that. But let me finish this part.
Okay.
So I was like, I hope he hears this someday. I think he will. I think I can make it happen. We're both in the Metroplex area. But a couple weeks ago, I posted the album cover for Cinci and a picture of Jarrett looking like a fucking idiot because he likes doing that. He loves making faces. Yeah. So that was easy to find. And I put that up there. And then I tagged him and said, thinking about that one time I ripped off Jarrett Reddick and Bowling for Soup, whatever. That's
You
my
know
way
what?
of-
I saw that and I didn't know what that was about. I didn't actually know at the time what that was about, but that
Dude,
makes sense now.
I tagged him, and then he read the post and he said, "Love it." And he had just followed me like not, like a week before this. And so I tagged him and he said, "Love it." And I thought, cool. He at least saw that I ripped him off. And then he reposted it. And I'm like, oh shit, he definitely heard the snippet, before he reposted it. What if I was dropping N-bombs or something? He ain't gonna share it. So like I'm sure he listened to it and was like, oh cool, and then posted it. So Jarrett Reddick did at least hear the part that I ripped off. And it goes like
there you
this.
go.
All right, I'm gonna try it.
That's super
Okay.
cool.
I hate being the guy that before every song goes, "Oh, I'm gonna mess it up, but let me try." But I'm fucking.
Well, listen, let me tell you this. You won't be the first one who's messed up a song on this show.
Okay. Well, I'm not. Even though,
Will Payne Harrison.
of course, Will Payne Harris fucked up. He stayed at my house, by the way. Him and
Matt.
Matt Moran. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt.
They Will.
Oh yeah, that's a picture of you doing the arm wrestling and the Little
Hey,
Caesars
hold
thing.
on.
Oh
So
my God! Look how good you
we were
dressed
gonna
is.
talk about this.
I forgot
because
about this.
Will was bragging about this, and I did notice that he's using both arms. Now,
Well-
now the pizza box, that's like Olympic rules, so I understand that. You've got to have a pizza box.
We wanted to make
as
it.
the
We wanted to
base.
make it to where
Yeah,
if there was a record broken, Guinness could put it in their book.
right.
Yeah. So it had to be
But
official.
yeah, this is a big moment for Will Payne Harrison right here.
Well, I'll say this: if he'd have used one arm, he still might have beaten me. But he used two, and it snapped my femur in half. So,
Your femur.
not my finger, my humerus. I'm the physical therapy guy.
Right.
Yeah,
I was like,
he did something good. My leg broke. Like, oh fuck! How strong are you?
Don't arm wrestle with Will Payne Harrison because he
He'll-
might break
he'll
your neck.
break
You
your
never know.
leg.
Yeah.
He'll twist
break
your arm
your
and break.
leg.
And that's a Chuck Norris joke right there. He twist your arm and break your leg. But yeah, that was cool talking to him. Indeed, I talked to Will Payne. I get the same vibe with you, Jason. Like I can tell based on the shit you said that you're a legitimate songwriter. And I'm not talking shit about people that can write songs and do write songs, but there's a difference in them and legitimate songwriters. And I hate to sound pompous like that, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I talked to Will Payne Harris for like 30 minutes, which is how long Matt Moran was Southside Smoking, apparently. And the stuff we just talked for a little while, and I was like, okay, he's a real like songwriter. I think I could tell after, because I would say some shit that usually people are like, hell yeah, man, far out, but he would respond to it properly, like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's legit. And Matt Moran was outside, but I'm sure he's also a legitimate songwriter.
oh yeah. Oh,
I just
for
didn't.
sure.
I didn't get that face-to-face little thing with him that I got with Will Payne Harris. Okay, let me try to play Cinci. All right, here we go. Once again, if things go awry, wave frantically and I'll open my eyes at some point.
Will do.
Also, another tidbit: I wrote this song in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. We're on a couple's vacation with our friends, and they decided to go on a nature hike. And I said, I got to write a song. I can feel it. And I stayed there and wrote this. It's called Cinci. We were together, and we got along. As far as I could tell, our love was always strong. Then like a robber, she stole it away. Took that highway to Ohio the next day. She used to love my accent. She used to love when we held hands. She used to love
I guess you saw it, left it alone. She turned on my heart and turned off her cell phone. She used to love my accent. She used to love when we held hands. She used to love that Texas sunset. Only in Texas understand. But the good ones never last. I guess she's too good for me. When that new love came a-calling, we broke up, she broke free. I guess she did not need me in the end like she did at the start. She's been Cinci ever since she stole her heart. I guess she does not mind the snow and rain. If you ask me, it's quite insane. Pack your boots and leave the Lone Star State. She's been a Cinci, and that's where she's gonna stay. She used to love my accent. She used to love when we held hands. She used to love that Texas sunset. Only in Texas understand. But the good ones never last. I guess she's too good for me. When that new love came a-calling, we broke up, she broke free. I guess she did not need me in the end like she did at the start. She's been a Cinci ever since she stole her heart. She's been a Cinci ever since she stole her heart. She's been a Cinci ever since she stole her heart.
We did it.
That was great.
That's awesome.
I love that
appreciate
song.
it.
That's a great song.
Hey, this is another songwriting nerd thing that made me pee on myself when I thought of it. That what was it? No, I can't think of it. Get away, Reba. What? She turned on my heart and turned off her cell phone.
Yep.
Like the double meaning there. Like she turned on me. She turned. I'm not explaining this to y'all. Y'all get it, but other people like. She turned on me. She turned on my heart. And she also turned on my heart, made me feel good, like love her.
Right.
And then turned off her cell phone. Like, I don't know. I just love shit like that. Those lines. And unfortunately, I think 80% of the people that listen to me don't even hear that. Which sucks. There's nothing I can do about that. Maybe someday, you know what I mean? You don't want to not write stuff that's really clever because people won't get it. Like, they're going to get it. At some point, someone's going to explain it to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like shit like that, like those lines. Those are not easy to come up with. You know, they kind of come to you.
Hey, what are you playing there?
This is I call it my Shitty Mitchell. I broke a string in 3 consecutive shows, including my full band show, which was a big deal for me. And we had a lot of people there. And Matt Rand was my guitar tech that day.
Oh yeah.
You know that, and I broke my string, and it was a kind of a train wreck for 5 minutes. But I played another song with another guitar with no strap, and I can only do that for so long before my arm falls off. And then Matt Moran runs up on stage and gets my guitar and leaves. And then 10 minutes later, he comes back and it's restrung. He said, "You want to tune it?" And then I got on the microphone, and I was like, "Man, Matt Moran, the guitar tech, from heaven. Thank you so much. You're an angel." And then I stopped for a second. And I said, "Have you ever seen Billy Madison? I kind of get the same vibes. Man, I'm glad I called that guy."
Right.
Because we just happened to get they weren't my full band show was just me. And then I started thinking, we talked about earlier the song swap mentality. Like, it's
Yeah,
like, friends here. I put on Twitter, like, who wants to play this? And then Matt messaged me, and it worked out to where they're having this little tour, and they could play for me for chicken feed. Unfortunately, I didn't make much money either, but they could stay at my house. So it was really cool. Like, I got a cooler show and a guitar tech, clearly, and they got a cool show, another gig, and a place to stay. So it was a great situation. It was really cool.
Yeah. And then just another example of the whole Twitter sphere, like working out for us, for our in our favor, everyone's favor. But
yeah, I don't know if y'all have any topics planned. I think Justin said he doesn't, because I got some shit to say. That sounded bad. It's not bad.
No,
I'll just keep talking about what we're talking about. That show, I was depressed for basically forever, essentially. I'm still not sure. I think it has to do with the fact that my brother absolutely tortured me as a child, which so my whole life I was just like, well, that happened. I'm an adult. I have a job. I'm friends. It's fine. But I do think that fucked me up. No, but I was depressed forever, and I recently defeated my depression, like, for real. And we probably have time to go into all that, but I did. And shortly after that, when I started being different, feeling different, and all this shit, that's when the show came together. It was like one of the first cool things that happened that would never have happened had I been depressed. It would never have happened. I promise you. I wouldn't have contacted people to play with me. Matt Moran wouldn't have wanted to approach me. Like, the depression just ruined everything, ruined my life, and I didn't realize it because my life was fine. It was like, oh, sometimes I want to kill myself, but everyone does. Life sucks, but it was literally ruining my life, and I defeated it in like at the beginning of August, like, for real defeated it. Like, some heavy shit happened to me, and I had like an experience. But ever since then, everything's been getting better. I'm thinking to myself, man, in 2 years, how cool could my life be?
Yeah.
If I keep the depression at bay, and I truly believe I will.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. It's weird, dude. My life has been weird. It just got weirder when the depression died, in a good way.
I mean, I've noticed. I mean, I spend a lot of time on Twitter, for better or worse. But I don't know, man. I don't like. I think I avoid some of the nasty shit that you guys see. Like, I just block it out. I just see the stuff I want to see and interact with the people I want to interact, and interact with the way that I want to interact with them. And I mean, I might every now and then have too many drinks and say something stupid.
Everyone does. But make your stupid stuff the stupid stuff I do, like the nonsensical.
No, your stuff is funny though. Your stuff is funny.
Yours is stupid and detrimental to your reputation.
Yeah.
I know the feeling. I promise.
Yeah. But no, I mean, there's definitely, like, you're regularly posting these like uplifting things and trying to bring people up, and it's great.
Well, let me tell you about that. I appreciate that. I'm glad you recognize it. I do. It's not every morning. It's most mornings. I post that to my depressed friends. ...
Yeah.
I send a message, and I did that because, man, it's unbelievable how much every single day is when you went from deeply depressed for a long period of time to literally not depressed. It's a different life. It's a different world. You live in a different world. It's. You ever seen Stranger Things? Most people have.
Yeah. Right.
When they're in the upside down and they're like pounding on their old house.
Yeah.
And the people in there can hear like a tiny little, almost nothing bump. When you're depressed, it's like you're beating the shit out of your real life, and no one can hear you. But you don't realize it's happening because you don't know any better. Because when you're depressed, think of there's a depression ceiling and a depression floor. Okay. Again, I'm altered, so I hope I don't fuck this up. But let's just say you move up and down in that. Okay. When you're super depressed, we'll say you're low. You're at the floor. When you're feeling really good, you're riding high, right? So my whole life, for over well over a decade, my whole adult life, I was depressed. But I I would still have days where I was happy and the days where I was sad or wanted to kill myself. But when you have depression, buried feelings or whatever the hell caused it, trauma, whatever the hell it is, when you have depression, those days when you're high and you're happy and you're at a football game, you're cheering, you're drinking, you're still fucking depressed.
Right.
You think you've defeated, you're like, oh, I'm not depressed right now. No, bro, you're depressed. You're not sad, but you have depression. I never knew that because I thought I was in and out of depression, but you're still there. It's almost like, it'd be like, let me use another metaphor. It's like you're in a glass case, it's real foggy, like frost, and you can't see out of it. That's when you're like you're depressed and sad. And then you get close to the glass and you start wiping away the fog and you can see blurry images of your life. That's when you're happy. Oh man, that looks fun. This is cool. Like this isn't bad. Because you're watching your life, but you're still in depression. You cannot enjoy your life the way you're supposed to. You cannot achieve the goals that you would have been able to achieve. You cannot build relationships that you would have been able to build because you are depressed. You have depression, clinical depression. And I always thought I was going in and out of depression. No, bro, I was depressed for over a decade. It's when I finally got out of it and I had these crazy moments, these crazy epiphanies happen to me that were born of new trauma. And I took things that helped my mind. Remember, I work in the healthcare field, but I did things that changed my mind physiologically. And then I confronted these things with someone who knew me better than I knew myself, or as well as I knew myself. Someone that was watching me in the case. Okay. That was my wife in this case. And I basically told her after this terrible traumatic event happened to me, emotionally traumatic, which wasn't about her, by the way. You'd think it was. It wasn't about her. I said, Samantha, I think I'm about to lose my shit. And I was calm, like on the outside, because I didn't want to lose my shit, Right. And I was like, I think I'm about to do this and this and this. And she's like, no, don't do that. It's a bad idea. I said, I don't know what to do. I said, I need you to tell me what to do, and I will do it. And at this point, my ego had been shattered into a million pieces. It didn't exist. That's why I was willing to say, tell me and I'll do it. I'm an idiot. Tell me. I've ruined my life. And so she started telling me, and she was like, I don't want to be mean, but I said, be mean. I said, you have to help me. Tell me. And so she was telling me all this stuff, and I would like had a tear rolling down my eye, and I'd laugh every now and then. And like just a little hopeless chuckle, like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I've been doing this. I can't believe I didn't think about that. It was so weird, dude. It's something that can't really be explained properly, but it basically tore down the shell of what I had to create to exist in this world. It tore it down completely, and then there I was, the real me. Like my exoskeleton had been shed, and there was the version of me that had been growing the whole time, but had never seen the light of day. And then that shattered away, and I'm like, oh shit. And all these, I'll listen to a lot of self-help, motivational speaking, business podcasts, all that kind of, like food for your mind, nutritious food for your brain. I've been listening to that shit for over 6 years. And I was always like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I do that. I'm going to do that. But I never really did it. I couldn't. It was impossible. But when this happened, all these lessons I had ingrained into my brain, now I'm like, oh, you're supposed to really care like this. You're supposed to really, care about people like this. You're supposed to talk to people like this. You're supposed to selflessly do things like this. I'm like, oh shit, I couldn't do that. I could learn about it and I could understand it and say, yeah, of course, that makes perfect sense. That's brilliant. But I couldn't do it, even when I thought I was doing it, until my ego shattered and my depression had flown out of it. Because that's what it is. Your ego is like a shell to protect you. And if you have depression, it can't get out of that shell. So you have to, and I'm not an expert, everybody. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just telling you what I've learned from my personal experiences. So that's my disclaimer. But when I shattered my ego, my depression dispersed, and I could see it go away. I could look up and go, oh shit, it's leaving. And when that happened, everything changed. My relationships changed. The lessons I had learned had begun to manifest properly, you know, they begin to boil and cook in my brain. And now I'm like, oh my God, that's what I was supposed to do. That's what I learned. I'm talking a lot, but you get the point.
Yeah, no, it was clearly a big moment in your life, and
Huge.
it's awesome. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you went through that, and you've.
But to go back to what I was saying is the original point about to my depressed friends posts that I try to be consistent with.
Right.
I can't believe I remembered that was the genesis of this. But anyway, I do that because I know there's a lot of people that felt like me, like their life just sucks. And they're like, man, I hate that I get depressed sometimes. Those people are always depressed. I'm telling you, because I know now. I went through it. And so I want these posts to tell them like, hey man, you're going to defeat it. I'm 30. I happen to be at 36. That's pretty late, dude. Like I'm sure my depression started around when I was 14 and when I was being tortured and shit. And to have it until 36 and then boom, defeat it. And then everything changed and my life gets significantly better. If it took that long for me, I want people to know you're going to defeat it. You're going to beat it. Like, don't even think, man, I'm going to have to kill myself because I can't stand this any longer. No, you're going to defeat it. You have to outlast it. You have to keep living life, doing your best. Some shit's going to happen. You have to outlast this depression because you got two options or three. You can keep living your life depressed and you get old and die. That probably happens to a lot of people, you know. Or two, you can kill yourself and you're done. You're done. Everyone knows what dying is. You're dead. Or three, you can struggle through this. You can, you know, to use a sports analogy, it's the fourth quarter. You want to quit. You're tired. You're sweating. You're cut up. You're bruised. You think you might have a broken toe, but you're not sure. You can forfeit the game, but you can keep playing and finish it and build these memories, win the championship, whatever. And, you know, those are your options. So I want them to know that the best option that I can now see is to fight through this, to get through it, wait for your epiphany to happen. Just keep trying your best, you know, in your life. Your epiphany will happen. And then everything that you thought was good in your life will be, if it wasn't actually good, if you're wrong, it will be culled out. It'll be cut out, surgically removed naturally. And everything that you knew was good and you're right about it will be at least 10 times better. It really will. And all your goals that you're like, oh, I'm a really good songwriter. How come people don't care about my songs? They will care about them. They're going to start caring about them. When your depression is done and people see that your aura has changed and your relationships are getting better, there's a butterfly effect of all this shit. So if you can just outlast it, fight through it, get to the other side, all these little dreams you had when you were younger, they're actually going to start happening. Yeah. But you have to be patient. So I want them to know when they see that, I want them to know, dude, it's happening. I feel like a preacher saying, keep living a good life, you'll get to heaven. That's kind of what I mean. Keep doing this, you'll get through it, and you're going to get to heaven. Your life that you wanted to have, and you know that you could have, and you're wondering why it's not happening. That's going to happen, but you have to get through this.
Yeah, it's a good message. We're glad that things are working out for you. You turn the tide, so to speak, and we appreciate having you on the show. Before we go, though, we wanted to ask you about you have your own podcast. You started a podcast recently. Tell us all about the AmeriCarnage podcast.
Well, of course, we talked a little bit about it before we went live, but yeah, I found the Anchor app, which is you told me Spotify bought Anchor, their podcasting company, and now they got Spotify's money, you know. So I found that app and I dabbled with it, and I think I accidentally posted an episode. That's how easy it was to do.
Right?
I'm like, damn. You know, I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long time. I did one when I was younger. It was a sports podcast and comedy. And it was extremely inappropriate. We'd probably go to prison right now. They heard that.
As would we all if we had the things
20.
that things we said when we were in our 20s.
We would all go to prison or just be murdered by the mob. But anyway, I've been wanting to do a podcast, but I thought I don't really want to mess with all that software because I remember when I did one, I had to record it in Audacity, I had to chop it up, I had to transfer files, I had to compress files, I had to email them to myself. I did not like it. It was not fun. I thought, man, if it was just easier, I would do it, but it's not. So then I discovered Anchor, and I thought, oh shit, this is easy. So then I remember I finished working. I got off work at noon because I had to get to the Valve studio at 1. And I remember I dabbled with the Anchor app. I thought, I'm going to do an episode right now. Who cares if it sucks or whatever? I'll just delete it. And if everyone hears it, I don't care anyway. So I was driving in my truck on 635 in Dallas, North 635, very trafficy. I just had my phone up to my face, and I was like, hey, y'all, this is Seth Jones. This is the American Carnage podcast. Yes, I have a podcast now. I just started riffing. I had zero plan. I was like, let me talk about what I'm about to do. That's cool. And so I did it. I think it was a 5-minute podcast. The next one was 5.5. Next one was 6 minutes. I don't plan on them getting bigger and bigger, but that's just what's happening. But I like that they're about 5 minutes because, you can listen to 5 minutes. It's the same concept of why you don't release an album. They can listen to all 30 minutes of your album, but they'll listen to a 3.5-minute song. You get a lot of people listening to that. So it's the same concept with my podcast. I'm going to do these quick little episodes when I feel like it, when I got something to say. It's almost like an extension of social media. It's like, here's a longer post with my voice. That's all it is. I'm doing a longer post with my voice. And then the Zach Welch / Seth Jones album release show, at the end of it, we were all feeling good. Show was over. Maybe had a couple of drinks in us or something. Where they were loading up. And I was like, Colton, come here. And bam, I got Colton on my podcast. And then Zach walked up and yelled a curse word, which he does sometimes. And I said, Zach, come here. And I got Zach for like a minute. And that was a really super fun, funny, cool 6-minute podcast that took no effort. Yeah. I did not try. I literally did held up to their mouths. I got in the truck and I typed in, hey, I got this episode has Zach Wilson, and I posted it. That's nothing. That's less effort than posting 3 tweets.
We kind of joke about the fact, like there's a lot of people who do podcasts, and there's a lot of people who put a lot of effort in podcasts. And I think that Justin and I both recognize the fact that if we had to put a lot of effort into this, we just wouldn't do it.
It's not worth it.
So we're just going to do this shit live stream. We're going to just put it out there the way we did it, the conversations as
there is
happen.
Effort, though. Trust me, there's effort to it.
So Justin puts in the effort.
What I'm seeing here is that Justin's working his ass off. Jason's like, I never knew podcasts were so easy. This is great. Why did I never do this?
I just roll up in my chair and start talking.
He's like drinking a pina colada with sunglasses on, and Justin's shoveling coal. Jason's like, isn't this great? Let's try to do 3 episodes a week at least.
Right. No, but I mean, Anchor is a great. I've used Anchor for years, and we actually use Anchor to upload this podcast to audio platforms like Spotify.
I think Justin and I are actually having a fight right now.
Right.
Is this our first fight?
Very polite on air battle.
I can't wait for the post show meeting.
Right.
All right, bro. What have you not been doing that I have? Like, I thought we were both doing shit.
Right. No, I mean, he's right that like we use this platform StreamYard, and it does make it's a very turnkey operation. There's not as many moving parts as like, some of the big time podcasts, but Anchor is a great app. And if you're at all interested in creating your own podcast, it's very simple. As Seth said, you just literally download the app, very simple instructions. And before you know it, you're recording. I mean, you hit the record button, it doesn't play around. You're recording. Like I
promise you, I accidentally recorded my first part. I pressed the record button. I thought I was going to record a part of it and I could like splice it or something.
Yeah.
It said, your podcast is recording. I was like, hey, this is Seth Jones. It's like, I think we're on. I think it's going to sound good. Maybe not.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah. It's very easy. And it's a fun, like I mentioned this before the show. It's like a gateway into podcasting. Anchor is. So if you're interested in podcasting even a little bit, download the Anchor app and, get started because you have access to Spotify like right away. That's a very cool.
They post it to Spotify. That's one of the best parts I didn't even talk about. I was always like, I don't know how to get podcasts on Spotify. I don't want to do that. Spotify's like, we got you, bro. We'll put it right on to Spotify. Another thing that I thought about while you were talking, because I like to ignore people and think of stuff myself.
like we all do, right?
I was like, I
We're
can't
all
wait
just
for him
waiting
to-
for our turn to
I can't
talk.
wait for
You're a
him to
person.
shut up because I have a really good point. No, but when you were talking, I was thinking like because you said if you want to put your foot in the door,
Right.
Think about it. If you just do this shitty little podcast like I do, and you're recording, and it gets popular, and then an investor says, "Hey man, can we like get in on this? Like we'll get you a real studio and shit, and you just give us some advertising money." That wouldn't have happened if you didn't do these little shitty little 5-minute podcasts. And
Exactly. It's
So-
the same thing with people on YouTube and on Twitch. Like people playing video games on YouTube and Twitch. Like if you'd have told me 20 years ago people were going to make money doing that, I would have said no way. And now
Insane.
lots
It's
of people
crazy.
do that. So I mean,
yeah,
not
They just
many
get on
people.
and play video games, and then
Right.
they make money off of it, and they do it as for a living. Like it's
Right.
lots of money.
But this
But-
is even easier than that though, because
Even
like
easier than that.
because
It's like-
we're not any good at video games. That's the thing.
right.
Well, speaking of that, as if I couldn't get any weirder to y'all, there's dozens of YouTube videos and Twitch videos of me playing Dark Souls and Elden Ring games.
There
You
go.
play Dark Souls. See, I've never gotten into it, and I've been told I need to, but I've also heard it's way too hard. So
It's very hard, but let me tell you this: if you play games at all, you
Yeah,
play
yeah.
PC games.
I play console games, like Xbox and
Okay,
PS4.
well,
so.
it's on PS4 as well. But
Yep.
Get Elden Ring.
Okay.
That's the same company. It's basically people have thought they're going to make a Dark Souls 4, but
Mhm.
instead they're like, we're making another game. But it's so much like Dark Souls, but also different. You won't
Okay.
know because you didn't play Dark Souls, but
No.
but you will. I'll tell you this: it is hard, but if you stick with this shit and get good at it, it'll be one of the best games you've ever played. Are you like fantasy nerd?
Honestly, I usually play. I have to say this very carefully. Horror survival.
Dude,
that's
you might
my
like this.
that's my genre.
You would love Dark Souls. You might want to play Dark Souls 3 first because
Yeah.
these games are horrific. Dark
Yeah.
Souls 3, there's like nightmare fuel. And
Yeah.
and you're the guy with the sword and the shitty or whatever you choose to use, and you're going around dark corners and they ambush the shit out of you. Yeah, dude, you might like Dark Souls 3, but Elden Ring is just higher quality. They spent more time on it. George R.R. Martin,
Yeah.
Game of
the
Thrones.
Lord,
he wrote the
Sorry to
world.
say Lord of the Rings. Oh my God.
we got the rings on our mind, but he wrote the story, like helped write the story for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
So you might want to buy that on your PlayStation and get into that shit. It's incredible. It really is.
Yeah, I think it's a game of the year contender.
It's going to win. When I played it, the first 10 hours I played it, I was like, oh, this is going to win. This is going to win. It's so awesome. But it's also, it's a lot. You have to commit yourself. Like you have to learn the stat system. Like what does S mean? What does B? But you're also smart. You're smart. I can tell, I'm not complimenting you. You have higher intelligence than me in real life. So you can figure it out pretty quick.
I don't take compliments very well, Seth.
Well, I just told you you're smarter than me. That's not a huge compliment. That'd be like a Jabba the Hutt saying, "You know what? You're skinnier than me. You have a pretty good body." Hey, well, no shit, Jabba. You're fucking 800 pounds. You're a slug.
Don't fat shame Jabba the Hutt.
He knows what he is.
Right.
We better wrap this up, Justin, before we get ourselves in trouble.
So, Seth, before we let you go, where can people see you play? Let us know about some upcoming shows if you could.
I have a booking agent and she's incredible, but we're in a bit of a dry spell right now. However, let me look. That's okay. October the 8th, which is the day after I'm announcing a single. This is breaking news. October the 8th, I have a show at 30 North, which is like Navasota area, Brenham and Navasota, that little area. And it's going to be, I haven't announced this yet either, but it's going to be October the 8th with Mason Merrick. And if you haven't listened to Mason Merrick, the dude is super unique. Like he's got a song called Lightning Strikes Twice. He just had a new song. He released a couple new songs, I think Small Town Country Kid or something.
Yeah.
But he is not bro country, despite the name Small Town Country Kid.
No, for sure not.
He's a great, super unique singer. The way he'll hit a note and then up to the next note. I didn't do it right, but he's just super unique. Really, really cool, like really good guitar player. He's not like a guitar god like Colton Mathis, but he's really good guitar player. He does cool shit with it. And I love doing song swaps with him because he's a super chill guy. Funny story, I know we're leaving, we got to leave, but the last show we played, me and him played was in Ho Chi Town, Broken Bow.
Mhm.
And towards the end of the set, I said, I'm going to play a punk song with my punk voice. And I started singing it like straight up punk voice, vocals. And I could see out of the corner of my eye, he was dumbfounded. His jaw was dropped. And after the song, I was like, what? He said, I didn't know you could do that. So you never heard my punk stuff? He said, no. I was like, dude, what the hell? He had no idea I had a punk vocal style. And it blew his, he was seriously, he thought it was a joke or something. Like he was like, is this real? Like you can do this? I was like, yeah, dude.
What date did you say that was? October 8th?
October the 8th is 30. It's at 30 North in either Navasota or Brenham. And by the way, any show I play, including that one, if you show up with a fiddle, you're welcome to play as much as you want to.
Okay, look out because I might be there.
That's an open invitation. I would love that, dude. If you play fiddle on my shit.
Yeah, I like Mason's music a lot, and ask Mason about Russell Boyd. I'm pretty sure they know each other pretty well.
Okay, I'll ask him about him.
Yeah, speaking of Russell Boyd, no relation to me, but he was also on our podcast a few weeks ago. So
okay, I didn't
check
hear
out that
one.
podcast. Yeah, no, he's got great songs. Jason plays songs with him. He's been playing with him for years, and they sound great together. So
hell yeah, I'm interested, very interested.
So Seth, how can people find you online? We were talking about social media earlier, but you have a website, you've got a social media presence. Obviously, you have music all over the place. But how can people find you?
Well, what's funny. I'm not going to make this podcast 3 hours, but I've naturally fallen into my social medias they're different. They have different purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Like my Instagram, I do these big long posts. My story is real active. Every day I post like 8 things in my story. Some of them have music, workout. It's like my life. If you want to know how my life is, do Instagram. Twitter, I just post funny shit, bullshit. I support my friends. It's a completely different feel. Would you agree? You're from the outside.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on the inside. You're on the outside. And then my TikTok, I just posted a song to TikTok that no one has ever heard. I fucking just wrote it and I recorded the video. It's the first time I've ever played it.
You and fucking Band Laredo, like you guys are like trying to like entice us to go join TikTok, but I can't do it. I can't do it.
I do not blame you, and I don't want you to do that on my behalf. But it's just cool how I found different uses. Like if I feel like I want to do this, I get on that one, or I want to do this instead, I get on that one. It's kind of cool how I fall into that. But to answer your question, Justin, TikTok is Seth Jones TX, as in Texas. Okay. And then Twitter and Instagram is Seth Jones Musica. And then Facebook, I think, is Seth Jones Band. Just type that in. My wife runs that. And YouTube, I'm so confused on YouTube. I have a Seth Jones music thing. I don't know what's on it. I've also got my gaming channel. I don't even know what that's called. I don't know the name of it. And then there's if you type in Seth Jones music on YouTube, DistroKid, they make a music page for you. So that's there too. But that's just my songs. That's nothing cool.
Right.
I don't understand YouTube. I don't understand how it works with the music because I've got an actual page, but I can't seem to get them to like recognize it as an artist page so that I can get my songs associated with it as well. So there's it's the same thing with the Band Laredo. Like there's like a topic that will have your songs on it, but then you'll have your own page. And then I don't know.
And then I have SethJonesMusic.com, but I kind of just have that to have a website. And you can go there and get to it's a place to go to get to my music if you're not savvy with.
Can I buy your songs there?
No, but you can go there to find me on Apple Music or iTunes or whatever. But yeah, it's the website. You can go there and check it out. But I want people to know, if you want to really get to know me and my music and stuff like that, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you have. Follow me on that because I use Instagram and Twitter every day. I use TikTok intermittently, I want to post this video. So
Yeah.
if you follow all those, that'll get you covered for real.
Yeah, and we appreciate having you on, and I mean, we could talk to you forever, and we have
We
plans
could.
to bring you back. So Seth Jones will return to Let's Freaking Do this podcast. But we actually have a plan kind of in place at some point down the road. So
Top
you'll be
secret.
seeing Seth Jones
Top
again.
secret.
Right,
I'm
top
very
secret.
excited about that, by the way. That's going to be cool as shit, guys.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. So thanks again, Seth. We appreciate you joining us on the show, and we want to thank everyone who's watching the show right now. We appreciate that also. And if you're watching this now, do us a favor, like this video and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us, and we really appreciate it. We're also available on podcast platforms like Spotify and Anchor. So, like this podcast right now, we're live on YouTube. Tomorrow around noon or so, the audio will be uploaded to Spotify. So we'll share that link. But we're also on other podcast platforms via Anchor and Spotify. We're on Stitcher. We're on Pocket Cast. So if you're able to follow us on those platforms as well, that really helps us. All those clicks and follows really pay off. As Seth was mentioned, social media. We have social media also. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We're at LFDT Pod. Again, LFDT Pod. So, Jason, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, it was great having Seth on. This has been like just some dudes hanging out, having fun.
I love it.
That's the way I like it.
That's how I like it. I always, every time I do a podcast, that there's like heavy structure, I'm like, all right, I'll play this game. But I prefer that we're hanging out, laughing, talking about whatever comes up. Like Rogan's podcast. They're just like, whatever comes up.
Yeah, and if anyone's listening to this who has not listened to Seth's music,
you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're an idiot. I can't recommend it highly enough. Like, it is really, really good stuff, solid stuff. If you're a country fan, you're gonna find some stuff that you like. If you're a punk fan, you're gonna find something you like. But like, Seth has got great songs and great production quality. So
I appreciate it, man. You're a songwriter, and I appreciate that.
That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Jason. So for Jason and for Seth Jones, this is Justin saying we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Good night.